A ring R is Noetherian if it satisfies the following equivalent conditions in the proposition. So there are three equivalent conditions in the proposition, and these three conditions are: every ideal in the ring R is finitely generated, ascending chain of ideals becomes constant. So say you have ideal 1 which is contained within ideal 2, so this containment is proper, so there is no equality. So ideal 2 is contained within ideal 3, and ideal 3 is contained within ideal 4, and so on. So this will eventually become constant. So that is, there is some index n after which this I of n will become equal to I of n plus 1. And the third condition is that every non-empty set of ideals in R has a maximal element. So all these three conditions are equivalent to each other. So if any one of them is satisfied, you call that ring R as Noetherian. So again, a ring R is Noetherian if it satisfies any of these three conditions and all three are equivalent to each other. So let us start proving this. So first proof would be A implies B. So that is, every ideal in R is finitely generated would imply that ascending chain of ideals becomes constant. So say you're given an ascending chain of ideals like this, and we have to show that this ascending chain of ideals will become constant. So we are given an ascending chain of ideals. So now you construct this ideal I as a union of all these ideals. So you have this increasing chain of ideals, you take the union of all these ideals and you call it ideal I. Now we are assuming A is true, so this ideal I has to be finitely generated. So this ideal is finitely generated. It has a finite set of generators, say A1 to AP. So these generators will lie in some ideal IN precisely because all these ideals form an increasing chain. So finally we will have some ideal IN which will contain all these generators because this is a strictly increasing chain. So finally, once this IN contains all these generators, then there has to be an equality, precisely because now this ideal I contains all these ideals because it's the union of all these ideals. So this is an equality, so it stops here. So you get an equality. So now we will prove that B implies C. For B implies C, we have to use axiom of choice. So B implies C, we will use contradiction. So what we are going to say is that we have a non-empty set of ideals in R, but it has no maximal element. So we will have no maximal element here. So that is not C, and that would immediately lead to a contradiction that we will not have an ascending chain of ideals which will become constant. So let us see this. So you set this calligraphic S as non-empty set of ideals in A. Now you take negation of C. So say S has no maximal element. So now by axiom of choice we can construct a strictly ascending sequence of ideals in S. And again, for this you have to use axiom of choice, and in axiom of choice we use a binary relation between any two elements, and our relation is that of inclusion. So since you have a strictly ascending sequence of ideals in S, this will contradict B, because here it shows that, you know, if you are given a strictly increasing sequence, after some time you get an equality. So the contradiction is here. So this will contradict B because you will have a strictly ascending sequence of ideals. So now we will show that C implies A. So every non-empty set of ideals in R has a maximal element. This would imply that every ideal in R is finitely generated. So take an ideal I, so this is an ideal in R, and now you set this calligraphic S prime as the set of finitely generated ideals contained within this ideal I. So we are taking finitely generated ideals contained within I. So now we will take the maximal element of this set, and that should be equal to I. So first note that 0 lies in S prime, so making it non-empty. So now we have every non-empty set of ideals in R has a maximal element. So S prime would have a maximal element. So it has a maximal element, but this S prime consists of set of finitely generated ideals. So it has a finite elements which are generating it. So maximal ideal M is generated by say B1 all the way to BR. Now if M is not equal to the ideal I, obviously M lies within ideal I because it is all the ideals which are contained within I. It is a maximal element of this set S prime. If M is not within this ideal I, then there is some element A which exists in I minus this maximal ideal M. So then we can construct a new ideal, say from B1, B2, B3 all the way to BR, all these generators, and then A. So this will strictly contain M because A does not lie in M, as you can see from here. It lies in I but not in M. And so this ideal is finitely generated and properly contains M. But this leads to a contradiction because we have chosen M as a maximal element of the set S prime, which is set of all finitely generated ideals contained within I. So this leads to this contradiction because M is maximal, and here we have constructed an ideal which is finitely generated, which is contained within I but also contains M. So it has to be the case that this cannot hold. So I has to be equal to M. So we have proved that C implies A. So now we come to an important proposition. So say R is a Noetherian ring and it has a multiplicatively closed set S, and it also has an ideal I. So then we can do two things. We can first consider this ring R modulo I, and second we can localize with respect to this multiplicatively closed set S, and we can consider this local ring S inverse of R. Now if R is Noetherian, then this is Noetherian and this S inverse of R is Noetherian. So this is easy to see. So ideals of R over I are of this form A over I, where all these ideals A contain I in this ring R. But these ideals A are actually coming from this ring R itself. So they are ideals in R itself, and they are finitely generated here in R. So they are finitely generated here. So every ideal in R is finitely generated. So this is finitely generated here. Images of this in R over I generate this ideal. So this is also finitely generated. And therefore R over I is Noetherian. So instead of R, you can consider R over I. So every ideal in R over I is finitely generated. Similar is the case for this S inverse R. So any ideal B in S inverse of R, this is generated by images of generators of phi inverse of P. So where phi is the natural injection map. So this R gets mapped to R by 1 via this phi, where R is this element of R. So this is how it gets mapped. So you have any ideal B, you can consider this image phi inverse of P here. So the ideal here will have finite number of generators because R is Noetherian. Because every ideal in R is finitely generated. So these are finitely generated, and precisely these generators are going to generate this ring B. So these are going to generate this, and because these are finite, therefore generators of this would be finite. So generators of this are finite, so generators of this will be finite because images of generators of phi inverse of P generate this ideal B. So this R over I and S inverse of R are both Noetherian. So now let us record some examples. So first example is that principal ideal rings are Noetherian. Now we will do some non-examples. So k, x1, x2 and so on in infinitely many variables, this is non-Noetherian, since this ideal generated by this infinitely many variables x1, x2 and so on, this is not finitely generated because it has infinitely many variables. So this is a non-Noetherian ring. Now consider this ideal I, x, xy, xy square, xy cube and so on. This is not finitely generated, and we are going to consider this ideal within another ring which is of this form kx, xy, xy square and so on. So this ring lies within this ring kxy. Now the elements of this ring are polynomials like this f, but which are precisely of this form a plus x times g x y. So this g is a polynomial in both x and y, but it is multiplied by x, and then you have a, which is a constant. So this polynomial f does not have any pure power of y. So it does not have anything like this y5, say. This is not in this ring. Although this lies in this ring, it is not in this ring because everything has x to it. So we will see after Hilbert-Basis theorem that this is actually a Noetherian ring. But this is not a Noetherian ring. And notice that you have a subset here. So this does not contradict anything like this because you do not have an ideal you can modulo out to get this. So this thing does not contradict this. But you have to keep this example in mind that you have a subring of a Noetherian ring which is not Noetherian. So another example is this k, x, y, x by y square, and so on. So this is an ascending chain of ideals that does not stabilize. So x is contained within x by y, which is contained within x by y square, and so on. So because you have an ascending chain of ideals, and this does not become constant because now this will go in x by y cube, which will go in x by y 4, and so on. So this will not stabilize. So this is also not Noetherian. So we end this lecture by a small remark on Noetherian schemes. So these are very important in algebraic geometry. So Noetherian scheme is a finite union of affine open xi such that the ring on each of the components xi is Noetherian. So say x is a Noetherian scheme, then we will have that for every point in the scheme you will have a local ring. That local ring would also be Noetherian, and that will follow from essentially that this property of being Noetherian is preserved under localization. And for any open set u of x, this ox of u is also Noetherian, and this will essentially come from the definition itself because x itself is made up of these affine open pieces, and we have a Noetherian ring on every open piece. So these Noetherian schemes are important because all algebraic varieties, they are Noetherian schemes. So algebraic variety is a Noetherian scheme. So this will become more clear as we will see the corollary to Hilbert-Basis theorem.